Hi everyone, and no, is it okay? Now it's started. Hi everyone, and welcome to the third coaching session with Joanna here. We are experiencing some difficulties with our bandwidth, so we might change to audio only if we're unable to hear her. So this is actually the second take because the bandwidth sucked, but we started talking about what happened since the last time we heard from her. As you know, she's working on some study notes for people who want to learn Japanese on mangas. There are two coaching sessions before this one, so if you're starting from this session, you might not know what the hell we're talking about. But with that out of the way, talking about task inertia, you were telling me that when you change the task, still within the same project, but you change the task, it becomes more difficult to go back to the initial task. But try again to tell us about that.
Yes, so first thing is that I had 2 weeks break from work because I had my own things to do. And after 2 weeks, when I wanted to get back to it, I was getting very anxious when I even wanted to start something. So then,
Anxious.
Anxious, yes. After a few days passed, this anxiety kind of dropped. But then during my work every day, when I wanted to switch from task to task, to switch from translating to looking for creating ways to make a digital form, I was getting very stressed. And like the other moment when I was getting stressed, it was when I was making 1 hour break from work. Then it was very, each time I wanted to get back to do what I was doing, I was getting stressed. And I'm still getting stressed. So that's the problem.
So this is very common. There are two things. First of all, if you stop doing something for a while, then it's much harder to start doing it again. That's why consistency, whenever you want to build a habit, is key. And the second thing, within a certain project, is also difficult because it's kind of the same as coming and going away from the project itself. You're using different pieces of your brain in different ways. They're going on. So I think the take-home message for anybody who's starting out is to establish a routine and try not to deviate from that, because a new habit is very fragile, very weak, and if you stop doing something for a while, then you might just quit forever. Very easy for 1 week to turn into 2 weeks, into 3 months, into, oh, it didn't work. So we seem to be getting away with using video. That's good. So I have some questions here from you. Shall I read from the file you sent me, or do you want to read the questions?
I think both ways are okay. Maybe
you read them. You're going whichever order you want to do this.
So how to deal with anxiety? It was my third question, but we started to speak about that. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I told you like that I'm feeling this anxiety, and what I try to do, I noticed that if I have this kind of routine, anxiety drops. So I also try to use some of your advices from the lesson number 7 to make a plan and don't change it later. And
very good.
I made a calendar when I write the task I want to do one day, and I try to like always check in the things I do.
And that helped you?
Yeah, it helped a bit, but it didn't. I still have some kind of anxiety. So I'm wondering if I should just wait till it drop. Maybe the anxiety will drop when I get used to this kind of work. Or maybe there's something more I could do to fix this problem.
Well, it doesn't really completely go away until you start getting results. I mean, if you had $20,000 a month coming into your bank account every day, that would relieve your anxiety completely, right? But then you would have different anxieties. You would think, oh my God, what about my card processing? Is that going to stay online? Should I get a backup? How am I going to move the money around? So I think anxiety is a part of this, and it's human nature to try to avoid anxiety at any cost because we fear the unknown more than we fear any particular type of pain that is known to us. And that is really why nobody is an entrepreneur. They don't like risk. They want guarantees. Now, the fact that it's common in our society to be an employee is really a distortion of what life is supposed to be like, because you get this experience where somebody is guaranteeing your salary. You don't have to do anything. Just wake up in the morning and go there and spend your day there. That gets you used to a level of comfort that I think ancestrally would not have been possible. In an ancestral environment, you would have had to wake up and go find a rabbit. There's nobody to guarantee you that you're going to find it. So that's another reason why being an employee is bad for you. It's actually bad for your reward system. It gets you used to a kind of soft and cozy type of life that then is really hard to get out. So when you feel anxiety, you have to know that that's the reason why everybody's a slave. That very thing. They can't deal with it. So when you have it and you go through it, that's already like winning in a big way, because that's the stuff that nobody's going to accept. If you can accept it and pull through, then slowly everything else gets fixed. I still have anxiety about a lot of things that I'm doing. It's just I'm used to feeling that way, so I don't really feel the need to act on it or anything. I don't have a choice. If I could get the same benefits and get all my needs met without having any risk or anxiety, I would, but it's really not possible. So we deal with it. It's good that you can be aware of it and recognize it.
Yeah, even like for me, it's something completely new, because before I was working full time, and I was working on my own project just in the evenings or in the weekends. But now I switched completely, and I work part time, so I have a lot of work. I have a lot of time for this project, and I'm not used to this kind of thing. So maybe
that's great. So you're having you have free accommodation, right? And you have a part-time job to feed yourself. And how many hours a day do you have free, other than your part-time job?
I mean, actually, I will start doing the part-time job from December. So right now, most of the time it's free.
Okay.
So
But from December, then how many hours are you working on that part-time job?
I will be working. I'm not sure yet, but I will be working 2, maybe 3 days per week.
So it's the whole day, but only 2-3 days per week.
Yes, I mean right now it's not something which is fixed yet. So I cannot tell so many details about that.
Okay, but you basically set yourself up so it's a guarantee that you're going to have enough money to survive, but still a lot of time to work on your project.
Yes.
So that is excellent, and I know many people who are twice your age, 3 times your age, and have careers at their back, and they can't put themselves into this position. It's impossible for them because they got used to comfort. They got used to running costs. They got used to getting a car, getting insurance on the car, maintenance on the car, feeding their girlfriends, and this and that other fucking thing, mortgages on the house. And behind you, because you already did the most important thing, which is now you have the time and you're not in a hurry because you can have money to eat. So I think it's really an excellent position. Okay, sounds good. So now that we know what the situation is like, shall we go through your actual questions about, you had 2 types of questions. One is technical and one is psychological.
Yes, so maybe
you guide me through it because you sent me 2 pages of questions.
But there are only 7 questions. Each question has a description.
Okay.
Okay, so.
All right, you pick which one I'm going to answer next.
Okay, so
I'll just answer
so
you.
the question number 1 is how to deal with distractions. For example, when I was working, distractions.
Okay.
Things that distract me from working. What I mean that.
How to deal with distractions?
Yes. How to deal with distractions. And what I want
this is still unlisted, but Katie just published a video that deals exactly with that. It's the third in the Outsider series. She started an Outsider series, How to Live Outside of Society. Skills you need to survive on the outside. She talks specifically about distractions, but I'll tell you my comments on it until that is released. I think distractions come from two things: the environment that you have around you, and second is the internet itself. So it's very hard to resist distractions. Once they happen, it's much easier to remove distractions so that they don't happen. So to do that, if you find, for example, if you're working in your home, it's easy to get distracted. If you go to a coffee shop or a co-working space where other people are also focusing and working, that helps you to have bright light also instead of being in a dark type of so like if you go out in a cafe, for example, the light is usually brighter than in the home. That helps a lot as well. You need to keep your internet connection disconnected, your email client disconnected unless you're using them for work. And
I cannot hear you right now.
The distractions. I was saying you need to keep the internet connection to a minimum so that if you don't need the internet, it's better to go to airplane mode so that you don't have any distractions. And also you can keep your email client off, not open, because otherwise you keep getting emails as you're trying to work. So disconnect everything, instant messaging, Skype, shut everything down. And then you won't have a lot of the distractions.
Yes, but there is also one problem with distractions. For example, I'm not able to work without a break for example, 5 hours, and I need to do these short breaks. And sometimes the break becomes distraction itself. I mean, for example, I decide I make a break, and now I'm tired, so I will watch a YouTube video. Or I'm tired, so I need a break, I will make a tea. And then I get distracted with something else. Because this distraction happens, so.
Then what I recommend you do is, if you're working on your PC, for your distractions, use the mobile phone instead of the PC. And set a timer. If you decide you're going to have, for example, 20 minutes off or half an hour off, set the timer, turn on your phone, distract yourself, then when the timer rings, turn off the phone and put it away. So you know already how many minutes you're going to be distracted. You don't need to figure it out as you go along. That's one way.
And also, that was my...
You could also distract yourself. You could distract yourself by doing things that do not have other, do not lead to other distractions. If you watch YouTube, is the best way to get distracted while you're getting distracted. And you never return to work. You told me, what if you play with the rabbit for 15 minutes? Chances are after 15 minutes playing with the rabbit, you'll be bored and come back to work.
Okay, that makes sense. And also what I was thinking about doing, that it was my question number 2. Like, will trying some tools for time management in order to fix this problem make a sense? For example, on Reddit, somebody wrote about, it's called Pomodoro technique, that basically you set up a timer when you have a break and when not. And I've seen that there are many tools like that. So I was thinking if it's useful to try using this kind of tools. Or maybe just remove.
Well, it's the same concept. It's the same concept that I said, where you decide ahead of time how much you're working and how much you get distracted. The problem arises when you're in distraction mode and you're called to make the choice: do I continue the distraction or do I go back to work? That's when you're weak. That's when you always choose to continue the distraction. So that's why you separate planning and execution. It's an example of that video content as well. I like to take breaks when I'm done with a certain task, and I don't know how long that's going to take. I don't like to take breaks when I'm almost about to make an improvement on what I'm working on. But if it works better for you to set up a time beforehand, that's fine as well. Another thing I noticed, I'm really sleepy like shit, and it's taking all. I'm being extremely vulnerable, and so it's actually useful because going back to a time before I was able to control my mind well, so I'm facing these things with maximal awareness and just having them in front of me and analyzing them. Sometimes it's just the quality of your sleep. If you didn't sleep well, it will be very, very hard to do demanding intellectual work. So if you feel like you're really not in good shape for working, sometimes it's just better to take a nap and get another hour's sleep better after than to try to work when it's nearly hopeless. Sleep is extremely important. Another thing that helps is if you try to find focus before you start working. So you start to organize the ideas in your mind, which is, what am I going to do now? How is that going to improve? How does that benefit me? Review your improvement that you've already made in the past week or 2 weeks and say, okay, this thing I've done it, this thing I've done it, this thing I've done it. So that you frame it in the context of, I'm getting everything done. This is just one more thing. So the mentality of everything is working, so I'm going to work on it more is very different from nothing's moving, and now I have to put in even more work. Unfortunately, at the speed at which business progresses normally, your instincts are going to tell you that nothing is moving, whereas in actuality, it's not true. Think about what you've done so far. You've already watched all my videos. You've already found a part-time job and started working your business full-time. You already chose a product. You already started creating the product. And I think more things that you're going to tell me today. So if you start thinking you already did all these things and it's going really fast, and then focus on, okay, so now I'm going to do this other piece. That also helps to get motivated to work, and it can often make it look more interesting than what you do.
Okay, thank you for the advice. Okay, so as for the next question, like question number 4 was, how much does it normally take to develop a routine or a plan? And what I meant by this question is, it's been 2 weeks since I was in Poland, since I am back in Poland, and I have a lot of time to work. And every day before, I make a plan for the things I will do next day, or I make a plan for the things I will do during the week. But I didn't manage to do everything I planned even once. So everything is taking me much more time than I think. And even also in a longer term. For example, in the last video I told you that I could make the final form of the nose in 3 weeks, but I think it's mostly one month past that time, and I still have a lot of things to do. So I was wondering if it's something I should be worried about, that I can never do everything I planned.
Well, this is the reason why if you ever look for investments and you show up with a business plan, you say, next year I'm going to make 20,000 and next year you're going to make 200,000, and they look at this shit and they laugh in your face and they don't even look at that stuff. They just look at you and figure out what kind of person you are. Are you tenacious? Are you easily discouraged? And that kind of thing. It's because nobody can do what they plan to do. It's impossible. But if you don't plan, then it's much, much worse. Then you don't even get to do a small portion of what you would want to do. So I don't think you have to be worried about it. I think you have to ask yourself, what is the reason why it took longer? Because sometimes things take longer, but it's because, like, the way it often happens for me is that I have a choice. And either, for example, the product I'm working on, it turned out to be more difficult than I wanted. And I only have two choices. Either I try to be fast and make the product shittier, or I can take the time to do things properly, but then the product becomes even better than I was estimating originally. It's very rare that you're in a situation where you make more effort and you get the exact thing that you plan. Most often when you have to make an extra effort, actually you end up with something better than you originally thought. And so in many cases, this is good news. You also have to recognize that most people that might be thinking about doing what you're doing don't know all the things that I'm teaching you. And so they don't have anybody to ask, should I be worried about that? The default is they're going to be worried about it. And this level of constant worry is going to lessen their ability to be effective. And generally everybody quits. So like I say in one of the videos, when things are hard, on one side, yes, it's more work for you. But when you decided that it doesn't matter how hard it is, you're going to do it anyway, dropping out of the race because they're too lazy. So think about defensibility as well. If something was so easy, it would be also easy for competitors to come in. When it's hard, then you're not competing with everybody. You're just competing with people who can do hard things. And they're a very, very small minority. So I don't think you should be worried about it, but I think you should have a plan on multiple time scales. And you should look, first of all, big picture, like saying, by the end of the year, I want to achieve this and that and the other thing. And then how long am I willing to wait before I have a finished product and like 5 clients? And let's just say, for example, you set that to 6 or 12 months in the future, and that would be your long-term goal. And that is not really a problem if you get there in 6 months or 9 months or 3 months, because bottom line is that you're investing a year of your life into getting started. So I think generally don't worry, but look out for what's happening and why you're going slower. If you're going slower because you're losing motivation, that's definitely something to worry about and address.
Also, what I was thinking to do, and that is my question number 5, that if I do everything, if everything I do slower than I imagine, maybe I should just give myself less tasks to do. But I noticed that if I give myself less things to do, I'm less effective. So maybe it's good. I mean, so maybe it's okay not to meet my own deadlines and getting a bit stressed because of that, so I get more motivated.
Yes, it's much better to have very huge goals and not achieve them than have small goals, which anyway you're not going to achieve them in the small one, because whatever you set your attention to becomes the new target. So often you're going to accomplish 3/4 of what you planned, no matter how big or small it is. So I think you're right on that. Shoot high, and if you don't arrive there, you still went far higher than most. This is also connected to the fact that there are some people who start businesses and they want to do everything for everybody. That would be a clear example in which you need to reduce your tasks. For example, if you start selling study notes and then some people like you, so they want you to tutor them, and then you're tutoring them a couple hours a day. And then now some newspaper wants you to become a columnist. So you're writing articles for a newspaper. Now you've got so many fucking tasks, and they're not feeding into your core mission. So that would be a case in which you're doing too many things. You should only do one and be as effective as possible. Make your business so that you can specialize in a very small thing and become the best at it.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, I had a break from the sound, but I think now I can hear you.
No, because I'm about to blow my nose, so I muted the microphone while you deliver the next question.
Okay, so my next question is like in your lesson number 7. segregate planning versus execution. You advise that I should make a plan before and never change that when I try to execute the plan. Imagine that me making the plan and me executing the plan are two different persons. But but I'm not sure how strict I should be about that. For example, a few days ago I planned that I will do all the tasks till 6 p.m. But I wasn't able to finish that. So I kind of did overtime. And I also was wondering if it's something that I should be worried about or not. Like if I make a plan, but I don't manage to finish the plan, can I just spend more time on it during one day?
Well, imagine that you're two different people. You're the boss and you're the employee. And the boss decides you're going to do this and that and the other thing. And you say, yes, sir, I'm going to do that. And then you come back and say, well, actually, I couldn't do it. You know, the boss is going to be pissed off at you. And if you think, okay, but I didn't know it was going to be so difficult, so for the next time, can we do something different? And you negotiate with yourself. You should have these planning phases often. You don't just do it once forever. If you have them, for example, once a week, then I think you should be strict in following the plan for that week until you can reassess the situation. And if you're the boss and your employee continues to be unable to fulfill goals, then you should be pissed off. It's like, what am I paying you for? You can't continue to tell me you can do things and then not do them. So it's this dynamic that I'm pointing out in the video, that you have to be at the same time the master and the slave.
Yeah, but when I was a slave in my full-time job, I most of the time had the opposite problem. That I finished something faster, and then I had nothing to do in the next hours. And I mean, similar situation happened to me 2 days ago. For example, I planned, not for example, I decided to do few tasks. I decided to make a research on the internet to find the way to find out how to make an application. I contacted my friends on Facebook, and one person told me that he would make a Skype with me and explained everything step by step. And the other one told me that he can even do it for me if I want. So the task, I thought I would need to focus on 2 hours. I did that in half an hour. So
Very good.
For a moment I was very happy, but then I got confused. I had no idea what to do with myself now. So I made a break, and then I make a break, and then I wanted to get back to work, do something that was next on my list, for the things I planned to do next day, and then I got kind of anxious.
Why did you get anxious?
I got a bit confused. I kind of didn't know what to do with myself for a moment.
Okay.
But
maybe if you have an employee who's working half the time, tell him go outside, play with the flowers, do whatever you want.
Okay, so
if he tells you no, I like to stay here and work more, then fine, do it.
Okay, so if I finish at 2 p.m., I can say if I didn't plan anything else to do, I can say myself, now you can finish for today, nothing to do.
I think it depends how you want to manage your mental energy. If you think that taking a break today puts you in a better condition to be even more productive tomorrow, you could do that. Or you could think, no, fuck this, I want to have my business running as soon as possible. I can't wait, so I'm going to work more. Both are okay. I don't think there's a bad answer there, because anyway, you did what you decided you were going to do.
Yes, so when I make a plan, I should be a boss who try to find out how does the employee work the most effectively.
Exactly.
In that way, okay.
Manage your resources the best that you can.
Yes. I also have one more question, but it's kind of connected to what we told before. That very often I make a plan that I will make 3 different tasks. But when I work, sometimes I have something which is called a flow. That, for example, suddenly I'm very productive, I have many ideas, I'm excited about the things I'm doing, and I don't want to switch to a different task because I don't want to lose this energy I have. But then it kind of destroys the plan. But
No, I know what you're saying. I mean, it happens to me as well all the time. But I just go with the flow. If I'm being extremely productive, because I know that if I stop that and I just go with the schedule, the next time I'm not going to be as productive when I'm trying to do the same thing. So I try to exploit that. It's kind of like the free energy that comes your way. So I think in that case, it's acceptable to change the plan but you have to have something to show at the end of it.
yes, so basically I need to be a boss who knows about the flaws of the employee and accept that.
Right. It's like if you have an employee and you ask him, hey, did you make those phone calls they told you to make? No, I didn't make them, but look, this is moving so fast. Look at all this progress. I think if you were a boss, you would be pleased with that, and you would say, okay, just call those people tomorrow. It looks like you're doing good progress today. So everything in the end is related to one single concept, which is the best way to manage your mental resources. And this is basically the same thing, if you want to be a little bit more scientific about it, to hint at the fact that I repeat often that the human animal is not meant to do this kind of work. We're meant to go out when you're hungry, see the coconut, pick the coconut, open the coconut, eat the coconut, and go to sleep. Instead, here, you're doing things long term where you see like how you have to fight, mind is working, and try to find ways to use it like in a judo type of thing. So it's all about that.
Yes. And I guess, yeah, that's the end of my questions. I mean, there was one more, but you already answered to that in the meantime, so that's all.
Right, but I think you had are these the psychological questions? Is that section in your file, and then you had the technical questions, or?
No, I mean, it was only psychological questions.
It was only psychological.
Yeah, in the file I sent you, I wrote technical and psychological.
Mm-hmm.
And for the technical, I wrote you the things I did and I want to do. But I don't have any questions about that right now.
Okay, great. So you're saying to do the things that you're supposed to do is easy. You don't have any questions about how to set up the business. You see how different it is from what people imagine. People imagine that the technical stuff is very hard and everything else is not even a problem. Whereas in reality, when you manage your mental resources, it's quite evident. You just need a little bit of common sense. You know what to do. But to get your mind to continue to work right requires constant tweaking. I think this is a good message for people to have, that I'm not just saying it in the videos, but this is what you found out as well. Guys, third coaching lesson, no technical questions, all psychological energy management question. Okay, so if that was all for today, then we can close here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot. Any last comments? Are you happy about quitting your job? Are you feeling better now? Are you more stressed out?
No, I'm feeling much better now. Especially
Yes?
when right now, I mean, I was feeling a bit anxious. I had this anxiety problem. But since I made plan, what I want to do step by step, as for the technical stuff, I'm not stressed right now. I mean, I
So
feel
when do you think
I
are
feel
you?
much more free as a whole. I feel better. So
Right. Well, it's much better than being an employee, that's for sure. So when do you think you're going to have your finished product or something to show?
something to show the audience and something to show the clients.
Well, I'm not sure. Do you even want to show the audience, or maybe it's private? You want to just show it whenever you launch, or anyway, when's the product ready?
Yeah, I didn't set the deadline to myself yet. So
Oh, you should have a deadline for product completion.
that was another problem. As I told something, I think that will take many hours, just take 1 hour, and something I feel they will finish quickly, they don't finish, and they last and last and last. So that was not the problem. I can set myself a deadline for 1 day and 1 week, but I have no idea what deadline could be for the launch, like for the opening of the company.
Well, opening can include many things. The product is just one of them. So I'm just speaking about the product, which I think you should have an idea because you already chose which manga to use, and I think you already started to work on the study notes.
Yes.
So what percent of the way have you covered so far?
I think it will be 1 month. What percent did I cover? I think I covered 80%, but it might be that things I want to do later will take me more time than I think. So it's
Okay.
fluctuating, you can say. I think 2 months.
Well, you're the business owner. If you feel confident that that's going well, then that's great. You have somebody that you can show this to and get some feedback once it's
Yes, I have.
sort of ready?
I have.
Okay, perfect. Well, you're doing, you're our best student so far because you're the only one who's getting the tutorials.
Yeah.
But that doesn't detract from the fact that you're making excellent progress and everything is as it should be. So for all the bitches out there that are just watching the videos as entertainment, you know, here's somebody who's doing the deal. All right, I'm going to close this. Thanks, Joanna. We'll chat again soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.